streak. And what's even more incredible about that is that they're all road games. So this is the first game of an 8-game stretch that they will have here at Fullerton College. And two of those players that have helped them out so far getting that 6-game road win streak have been Sailor Fru and Karen Delgadillo. Let's start with Karen Delgadillo. So far, she's got 32 kills. She has 380 assists, 11 aces, 94 digs, 16 blocks. I mean, you could keep going on. She is just an all-around player. And Coach Philip Tomčić was mentioning that she just has that right attitude, that aggressive attitude that she tries to spread to her team. And she's basically the quarterback of the team. She has to lead them. She sets them up. Anything she can to help them win the point on those tough rallies. And she's going to be setting up Sailor Fru as many times as she can because she's leading the OEC with 223 kills.
Now on the Golden West side, they're, like I said, 8-4 on the year, 2-4 in conference play. They're led by 11th year head coach Bill Lawler, who's also coached at Cal State LA before he came to Golden West. And so on the year, like I said, they're 8-4, currently on a 2-game losing streak. Who are some of the players on the Rustlers that we should be keeping an eye on tonight?
Well, when we spoke to Coach Lawler, he was mentioning, okay, we try not to game plan too much for our opponents. We try to just execute on our team. And some of those players that help them execute are Shayna Johnson and Madison Holmes. For Shayna Johnson, she has 421 assists so far in the season. Not only is she leading the team in assists, but also in the OEC, she actually has the 4th best average for assists per set, where she's actually averaging 8.59 assists per set. So she's going to be trying to set up Madison Holmes, who's leading the Rustlers with 133 kills so far in this season. So those are the two players you have to look out for if you're the Rustlers.
And then I'll give you another two on the Rustlers. We have twins on the Rustlers team. Linda Laura, the libero for the Rustlers, and then Amanda Laura. She's the middle blocker for the team. Amanda, standing at 6 feet tall. Linda, her sister, her twin sister, standing at 5'2". Both sophomores, both from Loera High School. Man, if I'm the shorter twin, Linda, I'm kind of like, hey, you know, how did I get the short end of the straw?
I mean, Noah, you could say that too, but what if Linda Laura's the one with the better skill, you know? That's why they love to be competing. Twin sisters, always so tough, but always you know that person is going to be the one pushing you all the way throughout the season.
So going back to Fullerton College, they're a very young team. They only have 3 sophomores, 1 returner, one being Sam Longstreet, the sophomore out of Lakewood. She's actually a third-year sophomore too. She redshirted her first year. But I want to talk about 2 freshmen, too, that have stood out for Fullerton College, Faith Webb and Mackenzie Genstad. And, you know, when we're talking with Coach Megan Glennie, she also coaches at Troy High School, and she gets a lot of players. She's also the director of a volleyball club program here in the northern Orange County area. So Mackenzie Genstad is one of those beneficiaries of the club program and in the high school program, coming from Troy High School, now a freshman. Both her and Webb out of Yorba Linda High School, both her and Webb played for Glennie in the youth and the pro club system. So that's going to be a big beneficiary for Glennie as far as developing a chemistry with those players. And those 2 freshmen, Webb has 138 kills on the year, and Genstead has 95. Both have been very impact players for tonight, for this season for the Rustlers. Now we're going to take a quick timeout for the national anthem here at Colleen Riley Court. back here at Colleen Riley Court for tonight's Hornet volleyball matchup as they take on the Rustlers of Golden West College. Reminder, I'm Noah Alvarez, joined by Victor Vasquez and Jared Hall for tonight's volleyball match. As we mentioned, the Hornets are 10-6 on the season, 5-1 in conference play, currently on a 6-game win streak. Let's go over those 6 victories, because the last time we saw the Hornets, they came up with a victory over Santa Monica College. The last time they were home was back on September 18th. They lost to Long Beach City College 3-1. Then they hit the road. They take on IVC, the #1 team in the state right now, lost 3-1. Then they played in the Grossmont tournament, lost to Grossmont on that Saturday on the 21st of September. But that second game of their doubleheader, they beat College of the Desert. They swept them 3-0, and that was what got the momentum started for the Hornets. Then they went on to defeat Orange Coast College the next week on the 27th. Then began October with the win against Santiago College, both against Orange Coast and Santiago Canyon College. Both were sweeps. Then they took on a very tough opponent in Cyprus, who is currently the 21st ranked team in the state right now. They defeated them 3-1. Then on the 9th of October, they took on Riverside City College, defeated them 3-0. Then took on Saddleback on the 11th of October, defeating them 3-1. And then here we are tonight against Golden West College. So very impressive victories. You mentioned it, not only were they on the road, but they were only 2 of those games went 4 sets. All the rest were sweeps. So to sweep on the road, this team is hot right now, and expect them to come out aggressive early on.
And Noah, you mentioned like the whole kind of where they gain momentum. I even talked to assistant coach Philip Tumchich, and he even mentioned that, you know what, it wasn't even the Grossmont Classic, or he wasn't going on those road games. It was actually after the Long Beach City game where he felt his team had to change something. They had to get more assertive. Their serve had to get a lot better. And he feels like that was really the game changer going into the Grossmont Classic. Got some more reps in for his team, and he's just loving the way that they're kind of flourishing so far, and we'll see if they can continue it here at home.
So the starters for your Hornets tonight. At the outside hitter position, it'll be Faith Webb and Sailor Frew. In the middle, it'll be Sam Longstreet and Karen Delgadillo. And then you also have 24 Mackenzie Janstad, and Priscilla Gutierrez will be doing the libero duties for the Hornets. Now for the Rustlers of Golden West College, on the floor they have Amanda Laura, her sister Linda Laura, Jennifer Juarez, Abigail Botana, Shayna Johnson is back ready to serve, and Sierra Emil will be one of the outside hitters. Remember, she's one of those key players that you were talking about earlier. 120 kills on the season, as 11th year head coach Bill Lawler already making a substitution. Mia Lara coming in. She's going to do the libero duties for tonight's match. We're just about ready for Hornet volleyball action here on 90.1 KBPK. We are live from Colleen Riley Court on the campus of Fullerton College.
And Noah, you mentioned he's already making a switch already as well. So now the Hornets also making their switch, as we see Priscilla Gutierrez coming in for the Hornets. It almost very similar to how it was at the beginning when we were talking to Coach Lawler. He didn't even want to give us the starters because he knew, you know what, still kind of see who's going to be the one serving, who's going to be starting. He's all like kind of in the moment kind of guy.
Well, that's one thing, you know, for those unfamiliar with volleyball, liberos, they wear the different colored jerseys for a reason, because they come in usually and play the back row. They're a sub for a middle. They're very good at not only serves, but they're a defensive specialist as well. So the libero is kind of like your, you know, do-it-all. What would you say, a Swiss Army knife of a type of player, as Longstreet gets it over for the Hornets. She bumps it over. Now Golden West sets a play up for Emil, and it's partially blocked, but it's going to be a point for Golden West.
Good start so far. I mean, for the Fullerton Hornets, they were kind of gave a little free play, didn't have a good attack on that one, ended up giving the opportunity to the Rustlers.
So here's Johnson's serve. It's a jump serve. Bumped nicely by Frew. A play set up for Webb, and with a double block, it's going to be Emil and Amanda Laura sending that one back to the Fullerton side.
No surprise, it's the two six-footers for the Rustlers that get that block.
Here's a serve by Johnson. Frew setting it up for Webb, the freshman. Now the play set up over here on the Golden West 4 and returned nicely by Madison Holmes. Now Frew gets it over. Rustlers now setting it up for Emil. Double blocked, but it's going to still land on the Fullerton side. Point for Golden West. 3 straight points for the Rustlers.
And you see that both Samaria Longstreet and Faith Webb going up for that one. They had a good positioning. They've been up there trying to block as much as they can, but just getting that ball deflected. Good job for the Rustlers.
So 3-0 lead for the Rustlers, and Coach Bill Lawler was telling us before the game his team's at full strength for tonight's matchup as Longstreet gets it over for the Hornets and gets their first point on the evening.
You can even see she was visibly happy Longstreet was to get that first point for her squad, showing, okay, finally, okay, I missed a few blocks, but now I'm going to get my first point for my team.
Sam Longstreet has 119 kills on the season. Add one more to that. She also leads the team with 48 blocks on the year. Sophomore out of Lakewood High School as Faith Webb going to serve it now for the Hornets. Rustler setting up a play for Emil, and this one's going to be too long. Point for the Hornets.
Like the idea that Emil had on that one, trying to go to the back baseline, but a little too strong on that one.
Looked like her approach was a little too far from the net. You want to be a little closer when you're trying to make a kill attempt like that. As the Rustlers are able to get it across. Finesse shot by Madison Holmes. Now double block attempt by the Rustlers, returned over by Delgadillo of the Hornets. Now a misplay by Amanda Laura. That's going to be a point for the Hornets, all tied up at 3 apiece.
And no, I felt like Rustlers should have gotten that point because it all started with Gutierrez kind of trying to bump that ball to her teammates. Actually ended up going over the net. Rustlers couldn't take advantage.
Here's Webb's serve. This one's played back as it's returned over and recovered. Nice recovery by the Rustlers. Longstreet now with the finesse shot. They're setting up a play for Madison Holmes, and she gets the point for the Rustlers. 4-3 early on in the first set here.
Madison Holmes with a nice cross-court spike on that one. She has the leading 133 kills for her squad. Now you can add another one with that nice shot.
So here's the serve now by Madison Holmes. Longstreet, she gets it over through the double block. Now on the Rustlers will try and return. It's Emil. Nice dig there by Webb. Longstreet's going to bump it over. Now Johnson sets it up, and it's going to be out of bounds. Point for Fullerton College, 4-4. Subbing in for the Hornets, Samantha Swanson will be seeing her first action as she comes in for Sam Longstreet. Swanson, a defensive specialist here on the roster, the freshman out of La Serna High School in Whittier, California. As her serve gets over. It's a play set up for Abigail Botana, and she gets it through the double block. It's going to land out of bounds and be a point for Fullerton College.
So far, you see that the Hornets blockers are able to get their hands on all the balls that the Rustlers are throwing. They've started getting a few deflections, but now forcing them to go out of bounds.
Here's Swanson's serve as the Hornets lead 5-4 early on in the first set. It's a play for Emil, and Emil right into the double block of Frew and Genstad, and that's sent back. Point for Fullerton College.
Frew coming in the season with 15 blocks, and she got the help with Genstad on that one to get another point for the Hornets.
6-4 to the lead for the Hornets early on here in the first set. As Swanson gets it over to the side of Golden West. It's going to be a play set up for Abigail Botana.
And partner, it actually ended up being a touch by the net by the Rustler player, giving the point to the Hornets.
So one more point for the Hornets, 7-4. Here the score. Unintentional rhyme. As Swanson gets it over, and it's a play for Botana. Now play set up for Frew. Frew cross cut pass. And this one, nice save attempt by Faith Webb, but it's going to fall out of bounds. Point for the Rustlers, 7-5.
Rustlers doing a good job to just power through the blockers, and they're just getting a lot of deflection. So it's still a good job by the Hornets, but the Rustlers just finding a way to get through the 2 defenders or multiple defenders that the Hornets are throwing up.
So now it'll be Mia Lara, the libero for the Rustlers, serving. Here's her jump serve. It's going to be a play. No, it's a quick set over by Delgadillo. Rustlers respond. Nice dig there by Delgadillo. And it's going to be Priscilla Gutierrez who gets it over for the Hornets. Now Botana picks up the point for the Rustlers with that kill right there.
Gutierrez with a nice dig on that one. Try to keep that play alive, but no communication on that play. Ended up going right down the middle against the Hornets.
Hannah Tobin came in for the game for the Hornets. She's joined alongside the floor with Webb, Gutierrez, Delgadillo, Genstad, and Frew. As Frew right into the double block and gets it over into the side of the Rustlers. Sent over by Holmes. Again, it's Frew, and Frew with the powerful spike. It's going to be a point for the Hornets.
No, if it doesn't work the first time, give it right back to Frew, and it's going to work the second time. She almost got that first spike good, ended up getting blocked. Free play for the Hornets, and they ended up sending it right over to Frew to get that awesome kill.
8-6 is the score here at Colleen Riley Court, as it'll be Delgadillo serving for the Hornets. It's Sierra Mill, and this time her approach was a little too far from the net again. We saw this a little earlier in the match. See it right there, and that's going to force Golden West head coach Bill Lawler to call a timeout. So here early on in the first set, the Hornets have a 9-6 lead over the Rustlers of Golden West College. A reminder, you're listening to Fullerton College Volleyball on 90.1 KBPK.
Noah, you see a lot of the things that Rustlers have been doing good so far. I mean, they started off really well. They had like almost like a 3-0, 4-0 lead in that first set, and then you see that they're trying to hit it right through the blockers. It started getting deflected, but now they're starting to go out of bounds. You see some of the hits that Sierra Emil is throwing, already two that are way past the baseline. You got to see if we can take advantage and not make as many errors.
As we mentioned earlier, Golden West 8-4 on the year, but Coach Bill Lawler was telling us he's dealt with his fair share of injuries to his roster, coming off back-to-back losses at Saddleback and then to Irvine Valley College, one of the tougher teams on the state. When talking with both coaches, too, about Irvine Valley College, the top team not only in the state, but the top team in that Orange Empire Conference, they handle the ball really well. They don't make mistakes. They're a really well-coached team. Both coaches had nothing but praise for that coaching staff and the players and that unit of players that they have over there at Irvine Valley College. The Fullerton Hornets take on IVC one more time this year. That's on October 23rd. About a week from now. Exactly a week from now.
I cannot wait for that matchup, Noah. It's going to be very, very intense considering that that's the only conference loss that the Hornets have.
So it'll be Delgadillo serving for the Hornets again as they get a play set up for Jennifer Juarez, and a diving attempt by Priscilla Gutierrez goes for naught. Point for the Rustlers.
Jennifer Juarez coming in after that timeout, already making an impact for the Rustlers.
The Fullerton, 18th ranked team in the state in the CCCA's latest poll. As this is a finesse shot by Riley Valle, but it's going to hit the side pole, and it's going to be a point for the Rustlers.
You like the idea right there by Valle to just kind of tip that one over. Just unlucky that it hit the side of the net.
Riley Valle with the little bit of pink highlights in her hair, supporting the Breast Cancer Awareness Month all year round, as the Fullerton players wear their pink socks, and it's a point for the Rustlers as Jennifer Juarez gets that point.
No, you like how Rustlers came out of that timeout. Now they're coming with a different type of energy and mindset. Tying this game up.
You're right, tied things up. 9-9 is the score. As this one, a powerful strike from Sailor Frew, and that's going to be a point for the Rustlers as it falls out of bounds.
You like the idea right there, trying to go by the sideline for Sailor Frew. She's already had success there. Couldn't get that one.
Leads the team in kills on the season. And this serve by Madison Holmes is going to be a little too long. That's going to be a point, tying things back up at 10-10. A reminder, you're listening to Fullerton College Volleyball here on 90.1 KBPK. I'm Noah Alvarez, joined by Victor Vasquez and Jared Hall. As Linda Laura, the sister of Amanda Laura, coming into the game for the first time tonight, as the serve by Frew going to sail too long. It's going to be a point for the Rustlers, 11-10.
Unfortunate for Frew because she's leading the team, the Hornets, for 22 aces so far this season.
Delgadillo is going to set it up now for the freshman Faith Webb, and her strike is a go. No, unreturnable by the Golden West. Point for the Hornets.
Great job and great positioning by Faith Webb to kind of nice little setup. Got perfect placement with that ball when she got it in air, and she got that easy kill for the Hornets.
Here's the serve by Genstad, the freshman out of Yorba Linda, California. Holmes returns it over for the Rustlers. Finesse shot by Longstreet, and that's going to be a point for the Hornets. 12-11 here in the first set.
That's already Longstreet's second dink shot like that, where she's just able to brush it with her hand, get her fingertips on it, and just fool the defense of the Rustlers.
It's a quick set. She fakes the defense out, thinking she's going to set it for a teammate as the serve by Genstad hits the net but gets over. Now Juarez gets it through the double block, and it's going to be a point for the Rustlers.
I mean, the blockers are there. You could see Delgadillo and Longstreet were there, but Juarez with a great cross court to the left side of the court to get that point.
So now it'll be Jennifer Juarez serving it for the Rustlers, and she steps on the line. So that's going to be a point for the Hornets. As a substitution, it'll be Hannah Tobin coming in for Riley Valle. Assistant coach Philip Tomacic will be handling head coach duties tonight until Megan Glennie arrives. She'll be arriving a little bit late on the evening, potentially have an interview with her after tonight's game. So be sure to stay tuned for that as Holmes gets it across for the Rustlers. Now Webb over for the Hornets, and this attempt by Juarez is going to be a little too long for the Rustlers. Point for the Hornets.
I love the play that Karen Delgadillo did on that one. She went up for the block, got a little bit of it, and then as soon as the ball came to the Fullerton side, she ran over, called for it, communicated. It's like, no, let me set it up to help my team get the point.
Here's a serve by Tobin, and it's going to go straight into the net, just a little short. And that's going to be a point for the Rustlers. Here comes another substitution as Sierra Mill, the 6-footer out of Huntington Beach High School, comes back in for Linda Laura. And it'll be Shayna Johnson. So back to the top for the Rustlers, and her serve is too long. So point for the Hornets, 15-13. Very competitive first set.
Very competitive, Noah, but you're seeing that the serve is very inconsistent so far. I mean, a lot of them hit the net, going out. Let's see which team is going to improve in the serve as these games go on.
Here's the freshman Faith Webb out of Yorba Linda High School. As she sets it up for Delgadillo, who now sets it up for Frew, and Frew, her strike is too powerful and gets across the double block for a point for Fullerton.
I mean, you said it, Noah, that the amount of momentum and power that she comes up with is just incredible, and it's going to be tough for the Rustlers to try to block that shot.
16-13 is the score here in the first set, as the serve by Webb is a little too long. Point for the Rustlers, brings it to 16-14. Remember, in volleyball, it's the first one to 25 that wins the set, as it'll be Madison Holmes serving it up for the Rustlers. It's 3 faults now by Faith Webb and the Hornets. As this one, Frew gets the finesse shot, and it gets it just over the double block. Point for the Hornets.
No, it's been the one consistent shot for the Hornets is that finesse shot. They pull it off at the right time to fool the Rustler defense and get them out of position.
So now Samantha Swanson checking back in for Sam Longstreet, as she'll be serving it for the Hornets on this play. The Rustlers set it up for Madison Holmes, and Holmes' spike is returned out of bounds. Webb unable to control it. Point for the Rustlers.
Nobody was going to be able to return that one right into the stands for the Rustlers.
Another substitution as Priscilla Gutierrez comes into the game now for the Hornets, as well as Hannah Tobin. They're joined alongside Faith Webb, Karen Delgadillo, Mackenzie Genstad, and and Sailor Frew, as they pick up a point on that missed serve by Mia Lara. Now Hannah Tobin's going to check out, and Riley Valle is going to check in. It's going to force the Rustlers to call another timeout. So again, here in the first set, the Hornets have an 18-15 lead over the Rustlers. You are listening to Fullerton College Volleyball here on 90.1 KBPK.
No, I think after that one timeout by Coach Lawler for the Rustlers, you see a different type of energy that came out with the Rustlers. They try to take the lead away from Fullerton. But the one thing I've been noticing from both teams is that each team has 3 faults already from the serve. So I believe the first team that's going to have to improve their serve is going to try to take this set and hopefully progress as the sets goes on.
It's been a back and forth first match. All you can ask for, especially if you're a volleyball fan and Speaking of the fans, what a great turnout, too. It seems like the student athletes and as well as some of the other students and the parents here at Fullerton College, caught wind that the Fullerton women's volleyball team was on a 6-game win streak, all on the road, too, so they thought, hey, let's come support them here on a Wednesday night.
And that's something that assistant coach Philip Tumchich said in our pregame, is that we're trying to show the home crowd, our Fullerton College athletes and students, that, you know what, we're going to show them the game that we portrayed in those 6-game win streaks on the road. Let's show them some of the love like that. Let's show them what we're made of and try to go and continue this win streak.
Boy, that coaching staff of Fullerton College sure is confident in their team, right?
Exactly.
I was speaking with Coach Tomicic before the game, and he was telling us how, after the 6-game win streak, as there's a point for Fullerton College, making it 19-15 here in the first set, he expects Fullerton College to win out the rest of the year. Doesn't matter that IVC is still on that schedule next Wednesday. Riding this energy and this momentum of the 6-game winning streak, he believes that this team is going to win out the rest of the season. As there's a substitution, Jessica Getz subbing in for the Rustlers. As here's a serve by Karen Delgadillo. Rustlers set up a play for Sierra Mill, and their cross-cut spike attempt is no good. Point for the Hornets, 20-15 here in the first set.
Noah, to kind of go back to what you were mentioning about the assistant coaches winning out, I mean, they even said that they love what's going on in practice, and they want to keep bringing that same energy from practice into the game.
They set this one up for Jennifer Juarez, and it's a finesse shot. Nice rebound there by Jenstead to get it over. And this time it's a Mill with a powerful strike. Dive attempt there by Gutierrez, but she was unable to connect with the ball.
And I think that's exactly what Emil needed so far in this first set to kind of get her going. I mean, a lot of her shots have been going way past the baseline, going out. Let's see if that one kind of gets her in that right mindset for the rest of this first set.
So 20-16 is the score as the Hornets playing in their first home game in over 3 weeks. It'll be Sierra Mill serving it for the Rustlers as they set up a play for Sailor Frew. Sailor Frew gets it over with a finesse shot, confusing the defense, and it's a point for the Hornets.
Noah, that's already been the 4th finesse shot so far in this first set, and every time the Hornets have pulled it off, they've gotten the point.
So 21-16 is the score for the Hornets here in the first set. 4 more points for a set victory as Frew gets it over on the jump serve. Now they're going to set it up for Jessica Getz. It's returned nicely, and Jenstad now playing it over for the Hornets, and it's blocked by Juarez. Juarez sends it back, and Jenstad can't recover, so it's a point for the Rustlers.
Jenstad was not ready for that block to go right back at her. Almost get stuffed right in her face. And again, Jennifer Juarez, 18 blocks coming in to this season.
She's the middle blocker for this Golden West Rustlers team out of Century High School in Santa Ana, California. As Delgadillo sets it up for Jenstad. Jenstad gets it through the block of Juarez, and it's a finesse shot by Shayna Johnson, one of the shorter players on the Rustlers team. Little trickery here. She gets the point for the Rustlers, 21-18 in the first set.
Now the Rustlers giving the Hornets a taste of their own medicine with that finesse shot. See how this feels, and they get the point.
Abigail Botana will be on the serve. No jump on her serve as Faith Webb tries to get it through the double block, but it's long. It'll be a point for the Rustlers, 21-19. And now that's going to force Philip Tomicic of the Fullerton College to call a timeout. Here in the first set, it's 21-19. The Hornets lead the Rustlers. A reminder, you're listening to Fullerton College Hornet Volleyball here on 90.1 KPPK. We are live from Colleen Riley Court on the campus of Fullerton College. I'm Noah Alvarez, joined by Victor Vasquez and Jared Hall for tonight's match. Pretty entertaining one in the first set thus far. Wouldn't you say?
Very much so, Noah. I mean, back and forth. I mean, you see like how Rustlers started off getting those 3 or 4 quick points in that first set, but then you see Fullerton just trying to take the lead. They're doing some really good things, busting out those finesse shots. But now you look again. This set has been close every step of the way. A lot of faults for both teams. So I want to see which team is going to try to just take this first set. Coach Lauder mentioned it in the pregame that some of the things that he wants his team to improve is trying to close out sets strong and try to not give up those chances where you should have won those sets. So we'll see if he can do that in this first set against the Hornets.
And speaking of close matches, this is the first time, the first match of the season between the Rustlers and the Hornets. The last time they met was back on October 18th of last season. And going back to last season, the Hornets swept the Rustlers 3-0 in both their games. So Megan Glennie has the Rustlers' number here in her coaching career with the Hornets, as Webb's finesse attempt is too short, hits the net, and it's going to be a point for the Rustlers. 21-20 here in the first set, the Hornets lead.
That's back-to-back points that Webb trying to help her squad get, could not get it.
As Jenstad gets it over, and this one unable to be handled by Abigail Baltana. Point for the Hornets.
No, that ball hit the rooftop. That's something that assistant coach Philip Tumchich told us, is that he likes having this court. He feels his team is already used to the low roof as compared to other gyms, and he's going to keep taking advantage of it against any opponent coming in and visiting Colleen Riley Court.
Home court advantage with the low roof. Sam Longstreet checks back in for Pasula Gutierrez. She is joined along on the floor with Karen Delgadillo, Mackenzie Jenstad, Riley Vayo, and it's going to be a point for the Hornets as the Rustlers touch the net.
And no, it actually ended up being, I think, 4 hits on that play. So for the Rustlers, it ended up being point for Fullerton.
To finish the 6 that are on the floor, Karen Delgadillo, Sailor Frew, Mackenzie Jenstad, Sam Longstreet, Faith Webb, and Riley Vayo. As the libero for the Rustlers, Mia Lara, going to plead her case with the referee in tonight's match. The 6 on the floor for the Rustlers as they chat it out. Shayna Johnson, Jennifer Juarez, Madison Holmes, Abigail Boltana, and Linda Laura. It'll be Jenstad to serve, and after the point, the Hornets lead 23-20 here in the first set, and Jenstad's serve is too long, point for the Rustlers.
That's where you start to see, okay, a little bit of nerves. You want to close out this set strong. You want to have a good first serve. That way you can set up your team for a good attack, but a little too long for Jenstad on that one.
Juarez, her jump serve gets handled by Fullerton, and Longstreet with a powerful kill attempt, and she gets the point for the Hornets, 24-21.
Linda Laura for the Rustlers tried all she could to try to get that dig out of the way and continue the rally. Could not do it on that play.
Hannah Tobin's going to check in for Riley Vayo as they look to close things out here in the first set. 24-21 is the score. Your Hornets lead over the Rustlers in the first set. As the play set up by Madison Holmes, finesse shot returned over by Tobin. Now there's a block by Longstreet as Holmes with the finesse shot blocked by Longstreet again. Now the Rustlers, Botana gets it over. Now it's a play set up for Webb, and Webb with the finesse shot. It's handled nicely. Nice rally back and forth between Golden West and Fullerton as Delgadillo sets it up for Longstreet, and Longstreet's kill is going to be the one to get the set victory for the Hornets, 25-21.
Great job by Longstreet on that one. Just full power on that one. Didn't matter how many blockers were in her way. She was going to get that point to finish off this first set for the Hornets.
A reminder, you are listening to Fullerton College Volleyball here on 90.1 KBPK. I'm Noah Alvarez, joined alongside Victor Vasquez and Jared Hall as your Hornets take on the Rustlers of Golden West College. Fullerton coming away with the first set victory by a score of 25-21. What impressed you the most in that first set?
Well, Noah, some of the things that impressed me so far is that even though the Hornets had a lot of service errors and faults on that play, you just started seeing them kind of push through, getting a lot more blocks. And you know what helped them a lot more? Is the finesse shot. The finesse shot just fooled the Rustlers defense time and time again. So hopefully they continue doing that and try to fool their team. As we see some of the stats that we have Sailor Frew, who got 5 points for the Fullerton Hornets.
And she picked up a lot of those points via the finesse shot. She was probably the leader for the Hornets when it came to that finesse shot, tricking the defense, thinking she was going to hit one of those powerful strikes, but instead going with a nice little tap instead.
Then you have Samaria Longstreet with 4 points, and she got that set finishing point with that big spike. She had a big impact as well as getting a few blocks. And then you have Karen Delgadillo with 12 assists. Again, she is that all-around player. One of the plays that I just always still remember is that she kind of helped out Samaria Longstreet with the block, and then she immediately called off her teammates saying, okay, I got this next pass. She tried to set it up, and she ended up getting the point afterwards. Just great all-around play from Karen Delgadillo, because you need those type of players, those quarterbacks, to help your team along when you're kind of struggling in that first set.
It sure is fun to watch a player like Delgadillo because she communicates so well with her team, like you said, out there directing traffic. And when you have a player like that, especially when you have a young team like Fullerton College does, having a player like that, and that makes all the difference. Now for the Rustlers, how did the other players do in the first set?
Well, like I mentioned in the pregame, Noah, Shayna Johnson is somebody you're going to have to look out for, and she just does that. What she does best is assist, set up, give her teammates good opportunities, and place the ball in a perfect position. She had 10 assists in that first set, and she gave up a lot of them to Sierra Emil. Now, Emil started off the first set a little bit kind of, you don't know if it was a nerves or anything like that, where she's hit the ball way past the baseline. But as the set started going on, she came back from the timeout, and she ended up getting 5 points for the Rustlers. Let's see if she can continue that for her squad.
Thanks to Corey Nayland for the unofficial stats in tonight's volleyball match. A reminder, you are listening to Fullerton College Volleyball here on 90.1 KBPK. I'm Noah Alvarez, joined by Victor Vasquez and Jared Hall, live from Colleen Riley Court on the campus of Fullerton College. The Hornets defeated the Rustlers 25-21 in that first set, as we're just about ready for the second set of action in tonight's game. Tonight's match, volleyball, a little bit different. Speaking of other games, though, here on 90.1 KBPK to get you looking forward to this Friday, a little bit of a doubleheader action, as we'll be calling the men's soccer team as they take on Cypress College. And then that evening, well, that game will start at 3 p.m. Later that evening, we have Fullerton Volleyball again as they host Santa Ana College. So another Orange Empire Conference opponent. First time they will be playing Santa Ana College this year.
No, I would be lying if I say I wasn't jealous that you're going to those games. I wish I was there with you. But I know that it's going to be a very, very intense game. And it's just so much fun when you see a Fullerton Hornets team for the women's volleyball that is just having a lot of fun while they're playing on the court too. They're focusing on, I'm sure in their minds is like, okay, we got this 6-game win streak. Let's see if we can continue it and put on a show for the, our home crowd. But man, how much fun is it to kind of see them? How long can they go with that win streak?
That's always a lot more fun too when you get to play with your childhood friends or teammates that you got to play up growing with the club. And we got to keep bringing it up. Coach Megan Glenny, Coach Philip Tomachich, coaching at the high school level and at the club level. That's going to help so much. Even their assistant coach, Coach Cecilia Arago. They all coach at the club level. They all have connection with these players. And if these players are playing together at, 13, 14 years old before they get into high school, and then maybe some of them playing in high school, there's 3 players from Troy High School on this year's Fullerton roster. If they're getting familiar with each other, it's a lot more fun when you're playing with your friends. And, of course, then you're winning. What's more fun than that? And
that's the evolution of volleyball now. It's that now you're playing in the pro kind of set right there in the pro circuit. So trying to see where you're going to meet up. Okay, where are you going to go to school? Am I going to play here? That's where they end up going and recruiting. So Webb picks up the ace for the Hornets to start off for the second set. Miscommunication there as we get you to 6 on the floor for the Hornets. Sam Longstreet, Sailor Frew, Karen Delgadillo, Priscilla Gutierrez, Hannah Tobin, and Faith Webb, as this one handled nicely by the Hornets. Sailor Frew getting it over, gets it through the double block, as now Madison Holmes with their cut shot attempt, and it's going to get over for a point for the Rustlers. Madison Holmes getting in on the action now. Good cross-court play. Get 1 point, get the first point for the Rustlers here in this second set. Shayna Johnson will be serving for the Rustlers, as this one mishandled by Priscilla Gutierrez. A point for the Rustlers, 2-1 the score. Shayna Johnson leading the Rustlers with 24 aces so far this season. Now make it 25 with a nice jump serve. As Shayna Johnson gets that one to clip the tape of the net. Oh, you like the idea by Karen Delgadillo to try to quick set that one, catch the defense off guard, but couldn't get it over the net. The score is 3-1 in favor of the Rustlers. As Shayna Johnson continuing to serve. Now Delgadillo tries a nice little dink shot. Delgadillo serving it up to Longstreet, but ends up getting blocked, and it goes out of bounds in favor for the Fullerton Hornets. And you see there on that play right there, Priscilla Gutierrez directing traffic, and we were just talking about it right before the set.
man, she's just very vocal, and she's one of the shorter players amongst her teammates, but her teammates listen and respond very well, and she orchestrates that chemistry.
As Samantha Swanson, who just came in, as well as Mackenzie Genstad. And Sailor Frew gets that one right off the top of the net, spikes it down for another point for the Hornets.
Yeah, pretty unfortunate there. You saw Mia Laura making the diving attempt on the dig, but such a quick play by Frew. Very smart, too, to know to respond that quickly as the Rustlers were out of position, picking up the point for the Hornets. 3-3 the score in the second set.
Swanson, nice little float serve as the setup is given right over to Amanda Laura. One of the twin sisters gets her fourth point right here in the second set. As the score in this second set so far is 4-3, advantage to the Rustlers.
Priscilla Gutierrez checking back in for Sam Longstreet.
As Madison Holmes serves that one up way too long. And that's going to be the first service fault of this set for the Rustlers.
Another substitution as Riley Vayo going to check back in for Hannah Tobin.
Score is tied 4-4 as we have Karen Delgadillo ready to serve for the Hornets. Nice little dig right there by Madison Holmes. And now Delgadillo serving it up to Vayo. The rally continues as Lara now giving it out to Emil. Nice dig. And now Fullerton is able to keep it alive. Now here comes Botana. Botana tries that little kill. Ends up getting deflected. Not good chance for the Hornets to try to save that play.
You know, it was a point for the Rustlers, but just watching that set, you saw Faith Webb hit the floor 3 times. She was able to connect on 2 of those diving dig attempts. Unfortunate on the third one, but man, you love to see hustle like that. One of the strengths of this Hornets team.
As Laura gets it in, and another little quick set by Karen Delgadillo. This time it works to tie this set up 5-5 in the second.
You love the awareness by Delgadillo, right? I mean, the team Rustlers know that she's, one of the #1 setters on this Fullerton roster. She knows it too, and using that statistics to her advantage by tricking them.
As we have a nice little set and a huge spike by Emil. Doesn't get it through. Now the ball, nice idea by Jennifer Juarez to kind of nice little no-look pass, but ended up going right out of bounds.
And Riley Vayo made a nice diving dig there to keep that one alive for the Hornets to pick up the point.
So the score is 6-5. Hornets on top of the Rustlers as Frew serving it up. Strong serve. And Madison Holmes not able to get a handle on that one or bump it to her teammates. So now it's another point for the Hornets. The score is 7-5 in this second set. Sailor Frew continuing to serve. And now we have Shayna Johnson setting it up. The ball spiked down by Botana. Ended up hitting the top of the net.
Looks like it hit the pole there.
As
Botana's spike attempt was just a little too wide.
So point for the Hornets. Score is 8-5 as Sailor Frew this time floats it up perfectly, and she gets another ace for the Hornets.
And you see the miscommunication there. The Rustlers, huddling things up and talking it over as Johnson went forward, but it looked like it was hit right to her. Maybe she was expecting one of her teammates, whether it was Mia Lara or Madison Holmes, to come in from that back line.
Second ace for the Hornets in this second set. The score is 9-5. A nice little block right there. Delgadillo trying for a nice little dink shot. This time she's going to set it up, give it off to Vayo. Vayo not able to get the kill on that play as Jennifer Juarez tips it over to Fullerton. Now Gutierrez giving it off. Nice little free play for the Rustlers as we have Emil for the spike. Rally continues between as the ball ends up going right behind the chair umpire as there's going to be a flag, but it's ended up going to be, I guess, crossing the center line, so it's going to be point for the Rustlers.
Yeah, you can return a ball that's out of bounds per se or out of bounds lines in the court, but it has to go over through the poles here on this volleyball net. So you can't be behind the pole and obviously return it. At that angle, it was almost impossible unless you could put some wicked spin on it.
Would have been nice to see, though, if she could do that. As we see,
we've seen the Hornets do almost everything tonight, but if they could have done that, man, that would have topped everything. As
Mia Lara having a discussion with the chair umpire. Love to see that.
The captain for this Rustlers team.
As the Hornets, nice little dink shot again. Karen Delgadillo trying anything she can to make it tough for the Rustler defense. As Delgadillo setting it up. Fourth Faith Webb. It gets blocked by the wall of the Rustlers. And now here comes Vayo. Another block back-to-back block for the wrestlers on that one.
And Vio tried it with the finesse shot, but she didn't get it high enough. And because she was coming at an angle, that double block by Juarez and Botana sent her back the other way, and she couldn't change direction quick enough because she had left her feet.
As Emil is serving, the score is 9-7. Hornets still on top. Delgadillo diving down, able to get it over, as Gutierrez has to get off the Sailor Fru in the back row. And now the ball is not able to go over. That attempt by Botana to try to spike it through ends up hitting the net.
I think that's the 4th error we've seen by Botana on the evening. All those errors, her approach is a little too far from net. You want to see her maybe get a little bit closer, as that one, she just skims the top of the net and it bounces back into the wrestler side of play.
As we see Linda Laura checking in for Sierra Emil of the Golden West College Wrestlers. Now we have Mackenzie Genstad serving it up. Here comes Shayna Johnson, giving it off to Juarez, who looked like she wasn't ready as he jumped up. And the tip by Samaria Longstreet is going to be too long, so it's going to be out of bounds. Point for the Rustlers.
And we were talking with Coach Bill Lawler before this game. I mean, the Rustlers are at full strength for the first time, it seems like, all season. And he expected a competitive ball game. This has been everything expected of Coach Lawler.
As Botana with the serve, and she's able to get that little miscommunication. Fullerton not able to bring that ball over. Getting a free point on that one. The score is 10-9 in this second set. Botana giving it off in the serve. Now here comes Samaria Longstreet. Great job. She almost waited in the midair to get that one.
And Linda Laura shaking her head because it looked like that one was going to go out of bounds. And she, pointed to herself after that one to her teammates saying, "My bad." But Linda Laura making a nice diving dig attempt. You can't knock the hustle, but unfortunately that one probably would have gone out of bounds.
Score is 11-9 in the second set. We have Hannah Tobin serving it up. Now Shayna Johnson trying to find Madison Holmes, who leads the team in kills. But instead the Fullerton Hornets get an opportunity. What a save by Botana, but Rustlers aren't able to capitalize on that play. As the Fullerton Hornets are currently up 12-9 in this second set.
The Rustlers didn't get that point, but back to back, you saw all players diving for the loose ball. A lot of hustle shown by both teams in tonight's match.
As we have Hannah Tobin serving it up for the Hornets. Now Shayna Johnson giving it, trying to find Jennifer Juarez. The ball is tipped, goes out of bounds. And it's going to be point for the Hornets. They are up in this second set, 13-9. As we see another substitution for the Rustlers. It's going to be Julia Morgan coming in for Jennifer Juarez.
And I love the decoy that the Rustlers ran right there. Shayna Johnson backsetted it to Juarez, who just subbed out. Unfortunately, right there for the Hornets was Faith Webb.
Here comes Shayna Johnson, giving it off to Madison Holmes, and they're able to get that point.
That's what you want your outside hitters to do. Make that cut shot so it's across the net and not right into the double block. Nice job there by Holmes.
As we see a few more substitutions for Coach Lawler and the Rustlers, we have Jennifer Juarez back on the court, ready to serve. The score, Fullerton up 13-10 over the Rustlers as Juarez overshoots that serve. And that's another fault for the Rustlers.
That's one of the things Coach Lawler was talking about improving for the rest of this year too. Her serves, being more aggressive on the serves.
As we have Faith Webb ready to serve for the Hornets, who are currently in control of the second set over the Rustlers, 14-10. Strong serve for Faith Webb, and here comes Madison Holmes. There's going to be a call by the umpire. It's actually going to be points for the Rustlers. I believe either one of the Hornets players touched the net, ended up losing that point. So now the score, Hornets on top 14-11. As we have Shayna Johnson serving. Now Delgadillo giving off to Sailor Fru. And now Shayna Johnson finds Emil with a strong spike, but Fullerton still in control of the attack, and Samaria Longstreet ends it with a nice kill.
Yeah, a little bit of miscommunication there on the Rustlers' end. There was no one in that back left corner, and Longstreet located the empty space for the Rustlers and got the point.
Second set, Hornets are up 15-11. We have substitutions for the Hornets. Samantha Swanson and Mackenzie Genstad back into this game. As Swanson ready to serve. Nice little bump, but not able to execute is Sierra Emil on that play.
Yeah, Sierra Emil, her approach was a little too far, and maybe that's on the set. Maybe obviously you can't run up too far to the net. either way, it's a point for the Hornets, as that's going to force the timeout call by the Golden West coaching staff.
As we go to timeout, we're in the second set. Hornets are currently up against the Rustlers 16-11 here at Carlene Riley Court. You're listening to Fullerton Hornets Volleyball here on 90.1 KBPK. My name is Victor Vasquez with Noah Alvarez and Jared Hall. Noah, midway into the second set, what do you think is going good so far for the Hornets?
Well, I want to highlight a player from each team. On the Golden West side, Jennifer Juarez, she's really stood out to me going into the game. You knew we had to know about Madison Holmes, Sierra Mill, and some of these other players for the Rustlers, but Jennifer Juarez has quietly had a really good season entering the year with 52 kills, 18 blocks, doing a little bit of everything. And tonight she is doing it. The sophomore out of Santa Ana, California, went to Century High School. You know, we were talking about Coach Lawler, or talking with Coach Lawler before the game. He's a coach that likes to develop his players, and he mentioned her as one of those players that has come a long way since she first entered the program. And for the Rustlers, for the Hornets, Priscilla Gutierrez, I mean, she's just directing traffic, being very communicative out there on the court. You love to see that.
Exactly. As we have both teams back on the court again in this second set, Fullerton is on top, 16-11 over the Rustlers. Fullerton with the ball. Samantha Swanson ready to serve. As Swanson, so far this year, has 8 aces. She's able to get the jump serve. Shayna Johnson, nice little touch to Amanda Laura, but Fullerton able to toss that ball over, giving the Rustlers a free play as Sierra Mill with a spike ends up going near the bench of the Hornets, and they're not able to get that play back.
And you like the spin. I mean, maybe it was the angle that it was at too, but the spin that Emil put on it, and Webb was unable to return it in the direction that she wanted to. Nice job there.
Hornets still up in the second set, 16-2 as we have Madison Holmes for the Rustlers. 16-12 actually, as Madison Holmes giving it off. Delgadillo setting up for Fru. Fru with a nice little touch on that one. Now here comes Botana trying to get that one over. There was a block, but Fullerton not able to keep that play going.
Yeah, very tough to get it through that block of Delgadillo and Genstad of the Hornets, but she was able to power it through.
She found a way. There's a score in this second set. Fullerton on top 16-13. Now Sailor Fru having to give it off to Faith Webb. Now Shayna Johnson behind her, trying to find it, but what a block by Sailor Fru.
And the Hornets aren't fooled by the decoys of the Rustlers at all. That's the second time we've seen a back set by Shayna Johnson. This time it was to Amanda Laura, but Hornets weren't fooled. They had the double block set up on that side, read it from a mile away.
Fullerton in the lead, 17-13 over the Rustlers as Karen Delgadillo ready to serve, hits the top of the net, and let's see if that kind of gave her that advantage on that play against the Rustlers.
That's always tough to react as a volleyball player because you never know which way it's going to bounce. You're already seeing it coming off the serve and thinking about playing it one way, and then it last second hits the net. Could change all kinds of direction.
Delgadillo going for it again as we have Botana gets rejected, but Rustlers still have the ball. Emil trying to get over the wall of the Hornets. Now Shayna Johnson get to Emil. The ball up in the air. Valle with a nice save, and Delgadillo throws it over for a free play for the Rustlers. Now Botana tries for another kill. Delgadillo setting it up. Fru gets rejected, and this time the wall of the Rustlers are able to block it back against the Hornets.
Yeah, we haven't seen too many double block attempts executed on, but nice job by Emil and Amanda Laura, the sister of Linda Laura, both at 6 feet tall. So that's a pretty hard wall to get it over if you're Sailor Fru and the Hornets.
Score is still 18-14. Fullerton is on top in the second set as we have Valle going for the spike, but it ends up getting deflected. Nice little short bump right over by Shayna Johnson. And now Rustlers with a free play. Again, another deceptive setup by Shayna Johnson, but a good dig by Gutierrez. And again, Rustlers with another free play as Botana try and cross court. Unsuccessful. Now Fru with a nice little finesse shot. Goes over 2 defenders of the Rustlers for the point for the Hornets.
And you like that decision by Fru. She just had her last one blocked for a point for the Rustlers. So this time she said, hey, not only going to cross shot it or cut shot it, I'm going to finesse it as well, just over the double block and just out of reach of the Mia Laura and the players on the other end of the court.
As we go to a timeout 4, the Rustlers. The score, Hornets on top, 19-14 in this second set. Noah, I mean, I passed it off to you before in that previous timeout about the Hornets were doing good. What about the Rustlers? What do they need to do to try to get back into this second set?
Well, you saw that double block attempt there by Amanda Laura and Sierra Mill. I would like to see a little bit more of that. Defensively, I felt like they've been caught out of place here and there, but offensively, they've been doing a nice job. It's just that the Hornets are a little bit more prepared. I've said it on a little bit earlier in the broadcast. Whenever the Rustlers do a decoy and Johnson hits a back set to whether it's Juarez or to Emil or some of these other players, the Hornets are prepared for it. So offensively, I think they're doing a nice job. They're just getting pretty unfortunate that the Hornets are well in position. Defensively, I think you need to pick up the pace a little bit if you're the Rustlers.
And we'll see. I mean, they were very successful, the Rustlers were, when they were able to do their own finesse shots against the Hornets. So let's see if they try to come out with a little bit more of that kind of play to try to trick the Hornet defense and get back into the second set. As we have both teams on the floor, Sailor Fru ready to serve. Hornets in control this second set, 19-14. You're listening to Fullerton College Volleyball here on 90.1 KBBK as Sailor Fru sends it up. And Madison Holmes able to hit it in the back row, but a little too strong and goes out of bounds.
We were talking with Coach Lawler before the game. The Rustlers aren't scared of any deficit. They've been down before. In fact, they were down 11-1 against Riverside City College not too long ago. So they have been having these major comebacks before.
Shayna Johnson giving a little quick setup to Jennifer Juarez, and now Delgadillo forced to give that ball up, ends up going out of bounds just barely, so it's going to be point for the Rustlers.
Yeah, what a risky play by Mia Laura. It looked like it was going to go in and just bounces right on the line. She knew it all along, she'll say.
The score, Hornets still on top, 20-15 in this second set as Emil serving it over to Fullerton. And now Genstad with a quick and hard serve on that one to give the Hornets one more point, give them up to 21.
Yeah, you mentioned it was quick and hard. I think it came up a little too quick on Madison Holmes, and she just played it incorrectly and got going to give the point to the Hornets.
As we have Genstad who just scored that point. Now she's going to go for the jump serve. Clips the net, hangs a little bit, but it's still over. So now Fullerton ready for the attack. Here comes Longstreet, gets that one in.
I've never seen that before, where it just hit the front of the net, had a little spin on it, hung on the top, and just like you see in a cartoon show as someone falling over a cliff, it hangs over onto the Rustlers' side. But nice job and awareness by Juarez to not give up on that ball.
As we see a few substitutions for the Rustlers, we see Julia Morgan and Jessica Getz coming in. The score, Hornets in the lead, 22-15 over the Rustlers in this second set. Mackenzie Genstad ready to serve. As she's able to get that one over. Nice little dig, but no communication in order to help out Jessica Getz on that play for the Rustlers.
Yeah, and there were 5 players of the Rustlers all watching that one. That's what you call a campfire.
Exactly. Good one. Good one. The score, Hornets on top, 23-15. Genstad gets that one over. Now Shayna Johnson over to her left. Ball ends up getting blocked, but it seems like there's going to be a discussion.
Yeah, the refs are going to talk it over. I think the ref here on the Golden West Rustler side called it that it hit the pole. She wants to get a clarification from the other refs as well from their vantage point. It's going to be a point for the Rustlers.
So now the score is going to be 23-15. Hornets still on top in this second set. So now it's going to be actually 23-16. I apologize after counting that point. So now it's going to be Abigail Botana ready to serve for the Rustlers. Botana gets that nice little floating serve. Now Delgadillo throwing it up to Faith Webb, and she's able to get that kill as Laura was not able to reach over to kind of bump it up to one of her teammates.
And I like the adjustment there by Faith Webb. It looked like it was centered a little bit further back. She kind of had to stop her momentum, but she was still able to get a nice kill attempt on that.
As we see substitution for the Hornets, Hannah Tobin coming in, ready to serve, trying to finish out this second set strong. As Tobin throws it up. Now Shayna Johnson trying to give it off to Getz. Nice little dig by Tobin, and now Faith Webb bombs it right there by the sideline, and the Hornets take the second set, 25-16. Well, Noah, as we see in that second set, very close again how it started, similar to that first set, but then as soon as that first timeout was called by the Rustlers, Fullerton just kept going, bringing on that energy, blocking as many as they could, and just getting as many kills.
And I think when you look at head-to-head, I think both their offenses were well ran. You saw Rustlers get off some nice decoys, but the Hornets were a little bit more prepared, and I think it came down to defense on that set. The Hornets were a little bit better prepared defensively, as we get you some unofficial stats for that second set. But, I mean, that was a lovely set to watch. Nice back and forth. Even though the score wasn't as close as you would think, still a very competitive game.
Very, very competitive game. So let's go over some of the stats that we have for this second set. Unofficial, of course.
So when you're looking at Golden West College, Shayna Johnson had 10 assists on the evening. I'm sorry, this writing is a little hard to read, but Shayna Johnson had 10 assists in this second set. She had 10 assists also in the first set. Then you have Abigail Voltana. She had 2 points. She picked up 2 points for the Rustlers. Also, Sierra Amil had 2 points for the Rustlers. And leading the way point-wise for the Hornets, you had Sam Longstreet with 3. Sailor Frew also had 3. And it was Mackenzie Janstead who picked up 2 kills on that set as well.
No, what do you feel like? How does this make you feel like, especially if you're, Coach Megan Glenny? Her team is just in control right now. And I mean, even though she's not here at the moment, but knowing that, this is how good my team is. We practice hard during practice, and they try to replicate how hard they play in practice to how they play in the game. So she has that confidence that, might not be coming in as soon as this game starts, but look, I know I have the confidence in my team that they're going to succeed. And right now, they're in complete control of this match, 2 sets up.
Well, what a luxury is it to have an assistant coach like Filip Tomacic and to know your players, even though it's a young squad. I mean, I think if you went around and asked all the community college volleyball coaches in the state of California, especially when they have a young team, only 3 sophomores on this roster, and you asked, hey, would you, trust your assistant coaches to run this team, be capable of winning a conference game, not just a regular season game or a preseason game, a conference game against a pretty tough opponent in Golden West College? I think most colleges would maybe hesitate before they said yes. But no, look at Megan Glenny being able to, trust her assistants like Filip Tomacic, Cecilia Arago to get the job done as the Hornets are back out here ready for the third set. But I mean, that's great. That's a great opportunity and not only great opportunity, but just to have that great trust. As we get ready for the third set of action, the Fullerton Hornets won the first 2 sets. Won the first set by a final score of 25-21. Then their defense got a little bit better in the second set, winning by a final score of 25-16. Fullerton College up 2-1, as the Rustlers will start with the ball on this one. Reminder, you're listening to Fullerton College Volleyball here on 90.1 KBPK. Faith Webb gets it through the double block for the Hornets, and they call
ended up touching the net on that one. One of the Rustler defenders trying to get that block, ended up touching it right there. Point for the Hornets.
So they lead 1-0 here in this third set. We are live from Colleen Riley Court on the campus of Fullerton College. Noah Alvarez joined by Victor Vasquez as Webb. Jump serve for the Hornets as it's returned by Holmes out of bounds.
No, I like how quick you were to try to save it. That way it doesn't hit our camera right there. Good job, my friend.
Got to save the equipment at all costs. As Webb now with the Hornets up 2-0, and this one's going to hit the net hard, bounce back into Fullerton side of play, and it'll be a point for the Rustlers.
I think Faith Webb was trying to do that same serve that Mackenzie Jenstad did, where she kind of just hung on the net like that. It's a good play, but impossible. I've never seen that kind of play. Still in shock.
I don't think you can plan that so per se. I think that just kind of gets lucky, and you have that nice spin on it. As will be the Rustlers serving the ball now, and Sailor Frew's finesse shot going to get through the double block, and it's a point for Fullerton College.
Jessica Getz for the Rustlers wasn't able to get a good bump on that one to give her team an opportunity to continue that rally. Unfortunate for the Rustlers.
Let's get you the 6 on the floor for both teams. It'll be Samantha Swanson to serve this one for the Hornets. She's joined by Faith Webb, Hannah Tobin, Sailor Frew, Mackenzie Genstad, and Karen Delgadillo, as this one is going to hit the net, and it's going to be a point for the Rustlers. Checking in for the Rustlers, it'll be Jennifer Juarez. She's joined on the floor by Sierra Emil, Jessica Getz, Shayna Johnson, Madison Holmes, and serving it will be Mia Lara, as the Hornets have a 3-2 lead over the Rustlers. Lara's serve is a little too long, and it's going to be a point for Fullerton College. 4-2 the score here in this third set.
Again, another serve that's out. So far in this whole game, Rustlers have gotten, I believe, over 6 service faults. Unfortunate for them, because it's just 3 points given up for the Hornets.
Got to make them work for it, as Karen Delgadillo will now be serving for the Hornets. And there's another service fault, so the Rustlers and Hornets trading service faults back-to-back. 4-3 the score here in the third set, as the Hornets have a lead. They also lead the game 2-0 in sets. As it'll be Sierra Emil with her serve, 2 feet on the ground on hers, as Genstad gets it through the double block. Emil with a diving dig, and it's going to cross over the net, but outside the poles of fair play. Point for the Hornets.
Good job right there. I mean, Rustlers tried all they could on that play, but it was just nice little hit by Faith Webb that just kind of put him out of position.
Sailor Frew now serving, jump serve. Now Mia Lara setting it up for Jessica Getz, and her kill attempt is too long. Point for the Hornets. 6-3 the score in the third set.
Unfortunate for Jessica Getz. I know she hasn't gotten that much playing time, but like the idea that she had, try to put that one all fours, try to go over the blockers, but it went too far.
Frew a little bit upset with herself after that service fault there. That's going to be a point for the Rustlers. 6-4. You're mentioning Getz. Played 36 sets on the year, 66 kills on the season, 14 digs. She hasn't played a lot, but she's been active for the Rustlers. As Webb gets it blocked back by the double block, and now it's Sailor's turn, Genstad's turn, and she gets the point for the Hornets. 7-4 the score here in the third set.
Noah, it's already, I believe the 4th play where either Samaria Longstreet or Genstad are able to get those kills, and there's just a miscommunication in the back row for the Rustlers. Hopefully they can try to clean that up as the set goes on.
Genstad now jump serving it for the Hornets, and this one is going to be short as well. 2 service faults in this third set. Hornets still lead 7-5 here in this third set. Lead 2-0 as Priscilla Gutierrez is going to check back in, joined by Sailor Frew, Faith Webb, Karen Delgadillo, Sam Longstreet, and Riley Vayo. As this one is returned by Madison Holmes of the Rustlers. Frew now bumping it over. Quick set by Johnson. And now Webb trying to get a point for the Hornets, but this one's going to be right into the double block. And that's going to be a point for the Rustlers.
Good hustle by Gutierrez to keep that play alive for the Hornets, giving Faith Webb that opportunity to try to spike that one through the blockers, but nobody in the back row. Ended up being an open for Rustlers, and they get that point.
Webb with the diving dig attempt and gets it over for the Hornets, and this one by Holmes, that's a spike that's going to pick up the point and tie things up. It's the first tie we've seen since early on in the first set.
And first time we've seen them get back-to-back points on 2 good plays for the Rustlers.
So Juarez serving it up for the Rustlers. Longstreet with the finesse shot. Nice hang time there. Johnson with the quick set over to the Hornets side. Faith Webb with another finesse shot. Jessica Getz tries to save that one, lays out, but unable to return it. Point for the Hornets. They go back up 8-7 here in the third set.
I was surprised I didn't see much of that finesse shot in the second set for the Hornets, but now you've already seen it on back-to-back plays. First Samaria Longstreet, and then you get it from Faith Webb to get the point.
Hornets lead 8-7 here in the third set. They lead 2-0 as Gutierrez digs that one out. Now setting it up for Faith Webb. And it's returned by the Rustlers. Madison Holmes. Priscilla Gutierrez was able to dig it out, but her teammates weren't able to recover. So it ties things up at 8-8 here in the third set. Remember, the Hornets lead 2-0, trying to get the sweep in tonight's match.
And that's something that Coach Lawler does not want. He's trying to will his team try to stay tough and stay in this third set.
Longstreet with a powerful strike, the third-year sophomore, putting the Hornets back up 9-8 here in this third set.
It's incredible how quick she gets up and how quick that ball comes down. She hasn't even landed. Her feet haven't even landed before that ball goes down for the kill.
She probably has the nicest hang time on this Hornets squad. As Webb, now with her jump serve, played by Holmes. Now Emil trying to get it over, and it's returned by Webb. Now they're setting it up for Sailor Frew, and Frew gets it just past the double block, and it's a point for the Hornets. 10-8 is the score here in the third set.
I mean, if it's not Samaria Longstreet, it ends up being Sailor Frew, who's just leading the whole OEC with kills. So unbelievable play right now for the Hornets, who are now pulling away. They're up by 2, 10-8.
It'll be Webb serving it again for the Hornets. They lead 10-8, and it's going to be a point for the Rustlers there.
Good idea by Sam Longstreet and Karen Delgadillo, who were trying to block that one up, ended up going out of bounds off the deflection.
There's 3 straight points for the Hornets, but Rustlers able to stop the damage. They trail 10-9. Longstreet with a finesse shot, handled by the Rustlers nicely, and Jessica Getz hits her kill attempt right into the double block of Longstreet and Frew, and that's going to be a point for the Hornets.
I mean, combined, Longstreet and Frew, they have over 60 blocks this season, and it's just a tough wall to get through if you're the Rustlers.
Longstreet standing at 6 foot, Frew at 5'11", but pretty much the same height. I was interviewing them before the game for the coaches show, and about even, much taller than me, as this is going to be a point for the Rustlers, bringing the score 11-10 here in this third set. The Hornets, remember, have a 2-0 set lead over the Rustlers in tonight's match. The 6 on the floor for the Hornets now: Priscilla Gutierrez, Faith Webb, Hannah Tobin, Sailor Frew, Karen Delgadillo, who sets it over, Mackenzie Genstad, and Sailor Frew. As Sierra Mill now gets it over for the Rustlers. Delgadillo sets it up for Genstad. Rustlers are able to handle it. As Emil gets it over, now Frew gets the point for the Hornets. 12-10 now the score here in the third set.
What ended up hurting the Rustlers on that play was Shayna Johnson. I like the idea, trying to do a decoy behind her, but she ended up throwing that ball in a kind of way too far for Sierra Mill to try to get that one for the kill, and then force it just kind of pop it over to the Hornets.
The 6 on the floor for the Rustlers: Jennifer Juarez, Sierra Mill, who gets it over for the Rustlers, Jessica Getz, Mia Laura, Shayna Johnson, who hits the deck, making that diving dig attempt, and rounding it off as Madison Holmes. As now Emil bumps it over to Johnson, who gets it across. Free play for the Hornets now as Frew, finesse shot, diving dig attempt there by Johnson, and continues. Another diving attempt by Emil, and now the Rustlers are able to get it over. Delgadillo, back serve to Riley Valle. And now it's Emil who gets it through the double block and is able to quick set it over. Frew gets the point for the Hornets. Good rally there, back and forth, but the Hornets come out on top. 13-10, the score here in this third set.
Great rally, a lot of hustle on both sides, but Fullerton coming out on top after the wipe right there by Faith Webb.
Delgadillo, the 5'9" freshman from Oaks Hill, California. As the Hornets look to get the sweep, up 13-10 here in this third set. Here's her jump serve, and she tried to get it cross court. Comes up a little short. That's a point for the Rustlers. 13-11 is the score here in this third set.
It's already the third service fault for Fullerton. You got to be very careful. Still a very close game in this third set.
And Priscilla Gutierrez unable to handle that serve, so it's going to be a point for the Rustlers, and it's going to force Coach Philip Tomacic to call a timeout. The Hornets still have a lead, 13-12 here at Colleen Riley Court. A reminder, you are listening to Fullerton College Volleyball here on 90.1 KBPK. I'm Noah Alvarez, joined by Victor Vasquez and Jared Hall for tonight's match. What has impressed you thus far from the Fullerton side in this third set?
Well, they started off with a lot of energy and the right type of mindset. It was like, you know what, we're still up by 2 sets, but we got to keep that kind of energy going. So you like the activity that Sailor Fru and Samaria Longstreet have had so far. Each one already having a minimum of about 2 points each in this third set. But you got to look at the other side as well. And you see the Rustlers, it looked like they're not going to give up in this set. They were down by a few points. Now they're close as 1 in this third set. Lawler, again, is going to try to make his team fight tough and battle for this third set.
They've handled big deficits before. They're on a 2-game losing streak currently. They lost to the #1 team in the state in Irvine Valley College. Lost to Saddleback last Wednesday. But they won 2 games in a row before that, 2 Cypress and then 2 Santa Ana. It's been a lot of injuries that kind of plagued their season. And when they're at full strength, though, he said they're a very competitive team like they are tonight. The Rustlers, again, they're coming off a 6-game win streak, all 6 games on the road. 6 of their last 8 are here at Colleen Riley Court, as Riley Vayo trying to pick up a point for the Hornets, and she does. Thought it was too long, but they do roll that one in. So 14-12 is the score here in the third set.
Great placement right there by Vayo to get it right on the baseline and get that point for the Hornets right out of that timeout.
She's a freshman from Yucca Valley High School. Seen some big action in this season as Delgadillo sets it up for Genstad. Handled nicely by the Rustlers as Emil from the back court tries to get a point, but it's going to be too long. Point for the Hornets. 15-12 is the score.
On that first play after the serve, you could see that Madison Holmes did not do enough with that to kind of set up her teammates and then ended up giving that free attack for the Hornets. As we have a timeout.
It's timeout called by head coach Bill Lawler from the Golden West sideline. The score is 15-12. The Hornets have a lead in the third set. They lead 2 sets to none. A reminder, you're listening to Fullerton College Volleyball here on 90.1 KBPK. I'm Noah Alvarez, joined by Victor Vasquez and Jared Hall, as the Rustlers trying to hang on and force the 4th set in tonight's match.
There's going to be a few things the Rustlers are going to have to try to improve on. Again, sometimes it even comes off of the Fullerton serve where they're just not getting into the right play and the right attack, which forces them to kind of just bump the ball over to Fullerton and allows them to get free attack. And that's just it's going to hurt your team, and is why you've been in deficits for a majority of these sets. So hopefully they can try to improve and just go as soon as they get a nice little bump or dig from that serve, they can try to set up their attack and be in control as soon as the get-go. So as soon as that serve actually starts for the Hornets.
And speaking on the defensive end for the Rustlers, their leading blocker in this going into this tonight's match was Amanda Laura. She has 29 blocks on the year, the sophomore from Loera High School, and we haven't seen her get too much action tonight. She might be battling some injuries as a point is picked up for the Hornets by Webb, able to get that quick set over, and the score is now 16-12 here in the third set.
Literally use their fingertips to just kind of push that ball down, not allowing the defenders to get any action on that play, as we see another timeout by Coach Lawler and the Rustlers.
So back-to-back timeouts called by Golden West. The score is 16-12 in favor of your Fullerton College Hornets. You're listening to Fullerton College Volleyball here on 90.1 KBPK. This has definitely been a fun one. A lot more fun than the Santa Monica College game. And like I said, that was the last time we were out here. Last time the Hornets were at home was all the way back on September 18th, and they lost to Long Beach City College. But since then, well, actually they lost 2 more games after that game. But since that last loss at Grossmont, at the Grossmont College Tournament back on September 21st, nothing but W's, nothing but wins for the Megan Glennie squad here at Fullerton College. They're on a 6-game win streak, looking to make it 7 tonight as they have a 16-12 lead in this third set.
And we have a packed crowd right here, too, in Colleen Riley Court, Noah.
Oh, that's one thing I love about Fullerton College. The sports all support each other. You see a lot of football players. You see the head coach of the women's basketball team here in support. You see some members of the soccer team and the tennis team here as well. You just love to see the student athletes support one another here at Fullerton College as the Rustlers pick up a point there. 16-13 is the score as they narrow the lead to 3, deficit to 3, as it'll be Linda Laura checking back in. We'll get you the 6 on the court for the Rustlers, as Mia Lara is also on the floor alongside Shayna Johnson, Jennifer Juarez, Madison Holmes, and Sierra Emil. As Delgadillo now setting it up for Webb. Webb gets it over. Johnson now Setting it up for Holmes, and Gutierrez digs it out. Now Johnson's going to set it up for Holmes again, this time with the finesse shot. Rayo saves that one. As now it's a free play for the Rustlers, and Jennifer Juarez with a powerful spike. Delgadillo is able to handle. Finesse shot here by Webb. Juarez handled by Frew. And this one misplayed by Sierra Mill. That's a point for the Hornets as they lead 17-13 here in this third set.
Rustlers had a good chance in that rally. They had good communication. We're not even giving up any free plays for the Hornets. Just unfortunate that Emil could not get a good dig on that ball.
Janstad with the serve as Sam Longstreet checking back in for the Hornets. Holmes tries to get it through the double block, and she does. It's a point for the Rustlers. 17-14 is the score. Hornets lead in this third set.
That's maybe what they needed so far, just to get a nice deflection, get a point, get a kill. That way they can keep it going in this third set.
Jennifer Juarez serving now for the Rustlers as Sam Longstreet, powerful strike, handled by Juarez. Now Holmes tries to pick up a point. Webb with her attack, it's handled nicely by the Rustlers. Johnson's going to set it up for Holmes, and misplayed there by Juarez off the double block of Longstreet and Frew.
Nothing you can do there when you have the leading blocker for the Fullerton Hornets up against the net, blocking all of that ball, not allowing the Rustlers to get that point.
So 18-14 is now the score as the Hornets have a lead. Hannah Tobin will be serving now for the Hornets in this third set, looking to get the sweep, 7 points away. The Hornets are, as Delgadillo now serving up for Longstreet, and Longstreet, they call a point, they call a violation on the Rustlers, so it's a point for the Hornets, and they lead 19-14 here in this third set, leading 2-0. Hannah Tobin now with the serve. And this kill by Madison Holmes falls inbound, so it's a point for the Rustlers. 19-15 the score.
I think it was actually deflected, Noah, on that play by one of the blockers for Fullerton.
Good eye. That's why I like having you here. Catch the things that I can't. As Delgadillo catching the defense sleeping. As she picks it up a point on the quick set. 20-15 is the score. 5 points away the Hornets are from closing this one out with a sweep. It'll be Faith Webb now to serve.
Now Faith Webb leading the Hornets with serves. Service aces, actually.
This one goes right into the double block. Tobin makes a diving attempt and gets the dig. Mia Laura now setting it up for Sierra Mill, and this one actually going to be played for by Delgadillo. And Lara kicks that ball in frustration. I don't think the ref saw that, but I think if they did, they might have hit her with a violation or a penalty.
Lucky for her that her frustration, was not seen by any of the refs.
Webb looking to close this one out. 4 points away. 21-15 is the score here in this third set. Hornets looking for a sweep as Emil gets it over. Now they're setting it up for a Longstreet. She gets a finesse shot in. Handled by the Rustlers. And this one taps the side pole. Emil's shot is no good, and it's going to be a point for the Hornets. 22-15 is the score.
You just see it kind of going down here for the Rustlers. It's just mistake after mistake, hitting the ball out of bounds, and just giving away these points to the Hornets in this third set.
3 points away from a sweep are the Hornets. As Webb's jump serve is handled by the Rustlers. Holmes looking to get a point on that one, and she does. The Rustlers bounce back after 4 straight points by the Hornets. 22-16 is the score. Now the PA announcer did say timeout, but no timeout on the floor. It was just a substitution. Jessica Getz checking back into the game. It'll be Madison Holmes now with the serve. Nice line drive serve as now Frew. Powerful strike, and that's going to be a point for the Hornets. Looks like there was a deflection. They're saying that it was a deflection, and Getz is trying to plead her case to the head referee, but it'll be to no avail. As it's a point for the Hornets, 23-16, 2 points away from the sweep in tonight's match. Samantha Swanson checking in for Sam Longstreet, the serving specialist. As Emil, her strike is too far and it goes out of bounds. 24-16 is the score. Hornets 1 point away from closing it out.
I was going to say, this is when you start to see Rustlers trying to go for it all in, try to hit as many kills as you can to get those balls in, get free points.
This one taps the net but heads over as the Rustlers are able to respond. Delgadillo now setting it up for Fru. Right into the double block of Emil and Amanda Laura, and that's a point for the Rustlers. Clutch blocked by the 2 6-footers as there's a timeout called by...
It was actually point for
the
Fullerton Hornets. The ball actually went over the net on that one. I thought the same thing too, partner. It actually deflected off the blockers and it went on their side, and it ended up being a third set victory for the Hornets.
So that's going to do it for the Fullerton Hornets, coming out with the sweep on the season of the Golden West Rustlers. 25-16 is the final score of this third set. The Hornets won the first set by a final score of 25-21, then won the second set by 25-16. And then, of course, winning this third set, again, by the same score as the second set, 25-16. Who impressed you the most of Fullerton on the Fullerton side tonight's match?
You gotta look at Karen Delgadillo. Just the way she's just hustling and just being an assertive and aggressive player. She is just all over the floor, like we mentioned, communicating, letting her ladies know, like, hey, I got this ball. I'm going to set it up to you to give Sailor Fru or give Longstreet those opportunities to get those kills in. So for me, it's got to be Karen Delgadillo, who's just kind of stepped up and just kind of quarterbacked this team to a good victory over the Rustlers.
And I'm going to highlight the freshman out of Yorba Linda High School, Faith Webb. She had 8 service aces on the evening, 8 service aces, as she was confusing the Rustlers defense and was unable to respond. You also got to give up to the assistant coaches, Philip Tomacic, Cecilia Aragao, for coming up clutch in tonight's game, even though Megan Glennie wasn't able to make it after all. You got to like their performance and their ability to handle this team as well.
No, that's one of the things that Tomacic mentioned during our pregame, is just that everybody has that kind of aggressive attitude. Everybody wants to learn. Everybody wants to win. And they make that kind of culture and that kind of environment during practice.
All right, well, that was Fullerton College Volleyball as your Fullerton Hornets come out victorious, sweeping the Golden West Rustlers 3-0. You were listening to Fullerton College Volleyball on 90.1 KBPK.